Hello, everyone. I'm Neha Singh, founder of Womanista and a financial planner who's worked with hundreds of working women across different life stages. Today's session on Money Talks for Moms to Be Navigating the Financial Break Without Guilt, which is part of Hera's pregnancy journey, is deeply personal because so many women feel guilty about taking a break, especially during their pregnancy. It's not just an emotional guilt, but also a lot of financial anxiety that comes with it. Should I be asking others for help? How will I manage if I'm not financially independent anymore? Things like that. But what if I told you that a simple plan, a simple structure could help you take that break without feeling guilty? This workshop, called Money Talks for Moms to Be, is going to talk about a maternity pause fund, how you can build it. It's going to talk about leveraging gifts for investments for your child as well as for managing whatever break that you want to take. And it's also going to talk about how you can work with the HR in your company to get a comfortable pause and comfortable re entry into the workforce. Why this conversation is truly important. While there is so much happiness that is going to come into your lives very soon, it also comes with this little bit of hesitation, little bit of anxiety. What is going to happen? What is the unknown that I'm going to be dealing with? And that anxiety can be dealt with step by step through a simple planning structure, especially when it comes to our finances. An interesting statistic says that 48% of Indian women do not return back to work post maternity due to various reasons, one of them being financial planning, which is what we're going to talk about in this session. Let's make sure that whatever it is you choose to do going forward, be it continue to work, be it staying back at home, you do it with dignity, and finances should not come in the way of that. To start with, as you're going into your maternity period, it's very important to know about your maternity rights as an employee. What are your legal entitlements? So, under the Maternity Benefit Act, eligible women in India are entitled to 26 weeks of paid maternity leave, right? And you can take an additional unpaid leave if required for any purposes. You need to go back, confirm this with your company's policy. What are going to be the paid portions? What are going to be the unpaid portions? Are there any daycare tie ups or any creche reimbursements that are part of the package that you can explore? Any flexibility when it comes to coming back to work, working from home? What are the policies around that? So, having these conversations early, right now, when you're in that stage where you have the mind space to think of all this, is super important. One of the biggest challenges that a lot of women talk to us about is how do I handle my expenses during the maternity break that I'm taking without feeling a sense of guilt, without feeling a loss of dignity in asking for each and everything that I might require, especially those who have always been earning on their own, right? So, for that, I would want to invite you to consider a maternity pause fund. A maternity pause fund, or you can call it as a maternity freedom fund, whatever works for you, is basically helping us accumulate a certain amount of money which will help us sail through the time that we are going to be on a break, and comfortably meet our own expenses. So logically, this fund has to start from your monthly expenses. Now here you can bifurcate into fixed and variable. Fixed is something that you will anyway have to pay even if you don't earn an income. And variable is something that is totally up to you. So let's say, as an example, I'm someone who wants to make sure that I am getting my house help regularly, even if I'm not earning an income. So that amount that you pay every month, plus maybe a variable amount, like I would like to continue going out for shopping sometimes, or I would like to continue eating out or entertaining myself through a movie once in a while, that becomes part of your variable expenses. Let's say that amount comes to around 50,000 rupees, right? 50,000 multiplied by the number of unpaid months that you can currently imagine or foresee or predict. Let's say you imagine that, okay, even after my paid leave, I would like to take 3 months or 6 months more. Then multiply it by 3 or 6 and add a slight buffer. I always like to add a little buffer. I suggested a 10 to 15% buffer so that if there is some large expense which comes during that time, that is also taken care of. Together, if you add this up, this becomes your target amount. Let's take an example. Supposing you're paying some EMIs, you're paying some rent, and you want to have some indulgences, and that comes to around 40,000 every month. For 6 months, this is going to be around 2.4 lakhs. You add a 15% buffer to it, and then your total target becomes around 2.76 lakhs. Now, having this number clearly gives us a guideline, gives us a comfort that we can start preparing maybe 12 months in advance, maybe 9 months in advance. Wherever you are, you can start preparing for this maternity fund wherever you are, right? And gives you a very sharp figure that you're going to gun after. What is the simplest and smartest way to start building this maternity fund? I would want you to consider having a monthly systematic investment plan. Now, you can do this through directly investing through mutual funds and their SIPs, or you can even consider making short term recurring deposits, depending on whatever it is that you're comfortable with when it comes to your risk appetite. Let's take a simple example. Supposing I am targeting this 2.76 lakhs and I still have around 18 months to go. I'm very well planned, right? And I know that I am going to be requiring this kind of a pause fund after 18 months. What the simple calculation says is that I need to put aside around 15,300 every month. If you're going to consider having some interest, etc., this amount might get reduced substantially. So I would recommend going ahead and getting started with the target amount and then breaking it down into monthly installments. Now, choosing the right investment really depends on the liquidity, right? Don't go and put this money into something which will lock in your amount. Look at mutual funds which give you flexibility, like maybe short-term debt funds, or you could look at hybrid funds which have ease of liquidity. Or like I said, you could consider recurring deposits for a certain time period, which then you can break and use as and when you require. Best is to treat your investments as automation, because sometimes you miss out, life comes in the way, and you might not make that investment, and you don't want to fall behind on making sure you have a maternity fund in place. While we're on the topic of compounding and investments, I also want you to consider, as a new mom to be, why not also take baby steps towards a plan for the baby who's going to come in very soon? If you start by making small investments of just 5,000 rupees every month in your baby's name or for your baby, you can actually do this in one of your existing accounts. You can just earmark it for your child's fund and put 5,000 every month. If you consistently continue to put just this 5,000 over the next 17 years, you will be able to build up a corpus of approximately 25 lakhs. And here you could consider aggressive options such as equity mutual funds, index funds, balanced advantage funds. You can go and explore the world of mutual funds, because that's where you can start small, stay consistent, and get an expected return of anywhere between 9 to 12% on an annualized basis. Now, getting started small because you have the time is the winning factor here. So don't forget to just create a maternity fund, but also consider investing for your child's future through a mutual fund SIP for your child's education, or any sort of a future fund that you want him or her to have. Let us not forget how companies can support us during these transitional times, especially when it comes to our finances. So I will quickly reiterate, going back and having these conversations upfront with your HR about everything to do with your financial benefits associated with your maternity, right from your maternity insurance cover, which you might want to use, to the fact that how will you be paid during your maternity break, What are the components that you will be eligible for or will not be eligible for? Things like your bonuses or any variable. Talk about what kind of support you're going to get when you come back into the workplace. What are the reimbursements that you can get? Is there any child education support that they can give you? Is there going to be any sort of a daycare or a creche facility support that they can give you? You can also look at any sort of investment guidance that is available from your HR during the time of such transitions. And finally, what about adding your child to your company's health cover? What about post maternity rejoining support when it comes to your health? Any such factors which you can consider, like flexible timings, etc. Have a chat with them because this is super helpful as a money transition as well. We're going to talk about the CRP framework when it comes to your career as well as your policies negotiation. You've got to start with the clarity of what is it that you really require. This is one of the biggest things that women struggle with talking about when they're going into a transition. When I'm going to come back, I might require some flexible days. I might require some flexibility in the kind of timeline. I might require an extended time period for which I need a break. Things like that needs to be discussed, which should be very clear, needs to be discussed in advance. What are your rights? What is it that other companies do in the industry that you're in? And finally, how can it help you as well as help the company to make sure that such policies are available for not just you but also other women in such transitions? How is it a win-win for you and the company? Keeping the CRP framework is a great way to walk into negotiations so that you can get exactly what you want without feeling overwhelmed or underwhelmed. It's time to go back and reflect over what is it that you really want during this period. While I have given you some suggestions from a financial perspective, it's also important to reflect what are the actions that you're going to take during this period. What does financial peace look like for you really when you're planning your financial break? Is there any sort of a money anxiety that you keep having which you would like to share with your partner or work on so that you're more comfortable with it? What would a guilt-free break look like for you? And how are you going to advocate for yourself during this time period? How are you going to make sure that you continue to have a voice, you continue to live in dignity, even when you're not having that income control that you used to have? Reflect over these, and I'm sure you will find solutions like the maternity pause fund or additional solutions which can help you feel more grounded and more peaceful with your finances at this time. Quickly summarizing the key takeaways from this program. First one is that you're walking into a new phase. Everything might feel chaotic, but it's super important to plan for this break. This you can do well in advance with the knowledge that it's simply a target that you need to achieve. You can start building a maternity pause fund. You can start leveraging SIPs. Also, the gifts that you get for yourself or for your baby can be directed towards SIPs for your child and their future. You have to learn to communicate about everything that you want from your HR, from your family during this phase. And finally, it's really important to enjoy this journey, to be joyful during this journey, and make sure anything which is giving you stress or anxiety is taken care of or addressed early with a proper plan in place. Remember that there are certain laws that you can lean on: 26 weeks of paid maternity leave, a 15% buffer when you're looking at creating your maternity pause fund. That's for all the indulgences that you would like to enjoy. Just starting with a 5,000 rupee SIP for a 17-year period consistently can lead up to an amount as large as 25 lakhs or more. And don't forget that many women struggle with coming back post-maternity only because they haven't planned very well. So you want to make sure that you're on the other side of the bridge. Thank you for choosing rest with responsibility. Your maternity pause isn't a gap, it's a season. And like all seasons, it deserves to be respected, planned and funded. If you need to know more about the Pause Fund calculator, the gift registry template, or want a follow up call, feel free to reach out. And I'd love to support your story. You've got this financially and emotionally.